So here she is, the Batmobile. We have rolled her off the trailer, took out the mangled radiator, as well as you'll see, there she is, the battery mount or battery holder, which is indeed what pinned. Get the camera to focus. It's kind of hard to see with the shadows. There we go, a little closer. But here she is, the shifter, and it was pinned. I was in drive and it was pinned completely against it. Pulled that off, and sure enough, the shifter moves just like it should, at least up front. Now, good news, the spray foam absolutely did its job. Kind of helped keep the radiator flat where it was punched back. Didn't go into any of the wires, especially on these cruisers. That thing is just sitting out there on its own, the starter, and that's why I took the fan off. So everything there worked good. That's showing some derby knowledge and skill. Dare I use the word? But again, I took myself out. Now, again, we had some fun with her. You can see we mangled the front end, but my thought there is just going to take that tire, put it in the back, which both back tires are still holding air, a little bit bent up rims, but they're fine. Guy here is holding air. You'll see now my left front is more bent than my right front was going in. That's where I took the one good hit that pressed the front. Not to mention I was just slamming everything with the front. The last 90 seconds, 2 minutes, I was stuck in drive and running until I buried it in the corner, and I was stuck in drive, still running. But just going to take my father-in-law's bucket, and we're going to get under that rebar in the front there and just see if we can at least bend it up a little bit. I don't have a torch. I don't really want to go through the hassle of taking it to someone that does have a torch. I mean, I guess I could, but I'm not really expecting much. And then up here, the only thing I plan to do, we're going to take this and turn it down. We're going to take that and turn it up. And like I did the last time I ran my PT last year, we are going to have just like a PVC pipe cycling water there. Again, my thermostat's already stripped. So it's just going to cycle water until somebody punches up front and pops it out. And then she's running hot until she blows, as we've got the coolant sensor on top. So pretty simple up front, at least for our purposes. You know, still got a lot of back end to smash, even though, again, the side over here, I think it was whenever I was stuck against the barrier the one time, whenever I was in drive, and that guy got a pretty good door shut on me, and see, the tire still held. The problem, though, and I'm going to have to do a little bit of, this is where we're going to actually back her in. I already started up and put her in gear she runs. We're going to put her in my father-in-law rather's pole barn there, is whenever it was trapped in gear, if you watch right up there in the front, I in essence seem to have creased, if not pretty much broke, the cable right there. So while the shifter's fine, it's still attached, everything works up front, it moves like it should, I seem to have trashed the cable. So I'm gonna talk to a couple buddies, play around a little bit, and see how I can somehow, I have actually the cable from my cruiser last year. The 2002, which it's the same setup. I have the cable that attaches there and it runs all the way up to here. I actually unbolted it because I had all this stuff out in my other cruiser before I scrapped it. But I'm not sure I'm going to do that. So we're going to play around with it a little bit. We'll add a little bit to the end here if we're able to get her together. If not, I think we're just going to take her anyways and put her in drive and just kind of get into the pits, and hopefully it's a little muddy, and just pull the e-brake and just smash her up one more time. We'll see. And the other thing, I did throw here the front belt gone here to there, but I still have the main belt. I was talking with a couple guys. Shout out to Chase and Ted Cobot that run several cruises, and said there's my main belt still there. That mainly just seems to be power steering, and then the AC there, condenser or whatever that thing is, but that's worthless. So I don't know. We're going to see if we can get one more run. Maybe see if I can talk my brother into run it. We'll see. So just a quick update to our shifter problem. The black piece in the center there of the screen. I got my light here because the light, it's not very good in this camera. It doesn't pick it up well. But right in front of the shifter there, that had popped out of the plastic piece. So I popped it back in, hoping that would be enough to get it to pull forward and backwards. It will pull back into drive, but the cable right in front of the metal kind of bracket there, where the cable is right in front there, it's kind of crimped or creased. So I mean, maybe you could kind of rig stuff to it, but I do just happen to have my cable from my cruiser last year, and it should be as simple. I use that word with a laugh here, a chuckle. I'll unhook from the shifter there, get my light to set up right underneath. I'll take this out, unhook there, and then there's bolts right there. You can see one of them under the plastic piece, shine the light. And then in the motor, it should be, if I remember right, just I'll unhook that kind of mount there, pull the fuse box up a little bit. There's a bracket right there you can see. Get my camera. Right there's the one bolt and the other one's right behind. And then the pin on there, and I should be able to pull her out this way and then hopefully slide mine back in, which you see it over there on the ground. That's my one from last year, not damaged. Hook her up and we should be good to go. So here goes nothing. We're going to leave the rest as is. We're going to cycle the water there as I mentioned. Change the front tire. So we got a front tire that's functioning. The back tire's flat, but who cares? That side's tore up. So she's coming. So here is our final look with our ready for the third run PT Cruiser. I tried to put her out of the her misery last Derby when I got stuck in drive, but I was not successful. Although, as you can see, we did bend the what are those? The rail frames there, or the frame rails? I don't know. I call them the frame. To the right and down. I actually was able to get the rebar bent a little bit up using a tractor bucket, a chain, as also our jack we put underneath it in the middle to just try to lift it a little bit so it's a little close to perpendicular, flat there, and protect us up front. You can see here, see if I can turn my light on. Oh, I've got to plug it back in. All right, there we go. I unplugged my light. But there is our radiator, and by radiator I mean that is our pipe that we have cycling from the bottom there up to the top, and you'll see we use kind of like a high pressure clamp on both ends to really kind of get it tight. That is just like a PVC pipe. I used it last year on the Cruiser, the fourth time I ran it, when I really shouldn't have. No point in buying a radiator. It wouldn't even fit in there, and I mean, who knows how long we're going to run, so don't put any more money in her. Just finish her up and see what you can get. But filled it with water. Again, the thermostat there is cycling, so I filled probably a little over half a gallon, or I'm sorry, a little over half a 2-gallon jug, so probably about 1.25 gallons, 1.5 gallons of water is in there cycling, and I've run it about 5 minutes just around the yard, so she works. I mean, it gets hot, that's probably going to get warped, but derbies don't run long anyways, and after that you're just running hot. The big thing we were able to get straightened out there again is our transmission, and that is our new cable. You'll notice, yes, those are zip ties going over the top and around the shifter to just make sure that that cable stays on there. They normally have like this little kind of like plastic piece on top that keeps it locked on. Well, that's again off my Cruiser from last year. Got it in, got it straightened out. Other than that, the motor, everything up front is normal. Only fender that we bent a little on was this guy over here. Just this right corner here, just kind of bent that up and around. But again, the wheels are fully exposed now. But you see we got a little bit of a right front here. Said worst comes to worst, that's what we're going to look to hit with. And then inside with the shifter was the only big thing. Everything else is as is. But you'll notice the zip ties all over the front of my shifter. And that again is the shifter off the Cruiser from last year, my 2002 Cruiser. Cable was fine, hooked it up. The problem I was having, the reason why all those zip ties are there, get my light to hang here, is this plastic piece here, the front part of the shifter cable, because the shifter's not lined up, it's a little bit too long, the cable. When I'm all the way forward on the actual shifter, it's in reverse on this. So trying to get it all the way to park, I couldn't do it. It kept popping off. And even just trying to get in reverse, it kept popping off. So I took zip ties and I went on each side, and I also went across here to just kind of hold that black piece tight. And reverse, neutral, and drive we once again have. And, you know, I can't rip too hard on it, but hope we're all right. And here is the old cable that was on it, and you can see right there, this piece should be connected, and because it's not, whenever the shifter gets pushed in, it just bent. And I could pull it, if it was all the way in, I could pull it back and it would work to get in drive, but you couldn't get it out of drive. But again, I just happened to keep that cable from last year's PT Cruiser because I wasn't sure if it was the cable itself or the shifter that was locked up. Turns out it was just the shifter. We hit it with the Freeall and broke it loose, so I kept the cable, and here we go. So yeah, that is her. Again, she's battered and bruised. I had a buddy tell me, hey man, you need to get DemolitionNoobs on YouTube or something like that, advertising, so people know where to watch the derbies. And I was like, yeah, I can throw that on there, you know, pre-ran car. So DemolitionNoobs on YouTube, get her on the camera, you know, watch the derby. I tried to do something simple, and believe it or not, it's hard to paint with an old brush on a muddy car, but it came out, at least you can read it. So that is her. That is what we got, our third run. We're going back to Venango, just outside of Franklin, PA. And we're going to see what she got. We got the DemolitionNoobs on YouTube. Watch the derby on this side too. So, yeah, I'm excited. I mean, who knows? We're just looking to smash her up one more time. Wasn't planning on running tomorrow, but this old girl's got some fight in her. So we'll see what we got.